Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the West Banter podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be going over some OTA camp stuff, as well as getting into some new contracts for the AFC West. Then we're going to finish it up with some buy or sell scenarios. As always, my name is Nick Carr, joined by Matthew Griffin. Matthew, what's going on, man?
All's good, man. NHL's done. NBA is done. Congrats to the Knicks and the Hurricanes. It's that time of year, man. This part of the year sucks, right? Like NHL just ended, NBA just ended, OTAs are wrapped up, and all we have to look forward to is training camp in about a month. But it'll be here before we know it. We're gonna go full steam on that. So I'm excited. And I think we got some buzz out of OTAs that's going to be at least some topic of discussion. And we've talked about buy or sell for a while, so I'm excited to do that. Nick and I don't know what we're going to propose for that. He has not seen my list, nor have I seen his, and we do have some guests that submitted some as well. So that'll be a fun part of the episode.
Yeah, I'm sure with the buy or sells, Matthew will find a way to piss me off. So, I'm excited for that part of it.
That'll make it worse than last week with Nick. Yeah. But
get me heated again. So,
as always, we try to start out the show with any new news besides OTAs. So, obviously, there's not a ton this time of year, but we got a couple things to talk about. With that list starting off with Sean Payton being extended, his contract to remain the head coach of your Denver Broncos. Yep. We have Mahomes' contract extension, which was, $500 million extension?
Yeah, it got him to a little over $500 million.
Yeah, so. And then your favorite topic, we have John Cooper's legal situation, and we can't ignore that, so we'll have to talk about that a little bit, and then we can jump into OTAs.
Yeah.
So kick us off on the new stuff.
Yeah, so we'll start with my boy, Sean Payton. He got a 5-year extension. So this will make him the Broncos head coach through the 2030 season. About 3 weeks, a month ago or so, George Payton got his extension, the Broncos GM. So now both George Payton and Sean Payton are tied to the Broncos through that 2030 season. When it comes to Sean Payton, I've had my fair share of questions around him. But with that being said, Sean Payton has come in here and he has totally reshaped this Denver Broncos organization. Before Sean Payton arrived here, this thing was spiraling downhill fast. And, the Denver Broncos have been used to winning forever, certainly since the 80s. These last 10 years before Sean Payton got here, it was bad. Like, we couldn't even recognize who we were. So Sean Payton brought back that winning culture. He got us to a place where obviously we were playing in an AFC championship last year. He identified Bo Nix as a franchise guy. So you can definitely see why the Denver Broncos gave him this extension. I'm excited about it. I think he's a really great coach. We'll kind of see how it goes. I know Sean Payton is striving for another Super Bowl because I don't think he's a Hall of Fame coach without another Super Bowl. I think there's plenty of drive there for him still. And, we'll see where it goes. But, you can be far worse off as an organization. And I'm just glad that we have Sean Payton. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think once George Payton's extension was done, this was kind of already in the works. And when you compare a head coach and a GM that have that relationship that they seem to have, that both obviously are working towards the common goal and doing great roster construction to give Sean Payton a competitive team to field out there every week and let him do his work as head coach, when you have that relationship and the talent on the administrative side with George Payton and then you have the talent at the head coaching side, I think pairing them up for the next 5 years is smart business for the Denver Broncos. Like you said, say what you will about Sean Payton, and I think that kind of goes for all coaches in the league. There's going to be some displeasures here and there. There's going to be some ego-related questions, play calling duties that have been given up moving into this year. there's always going to be things to talk about, but at the end of the day, results speak for themselves when it comes to coaches, right?
Yeah.
Coaches are always taking the fall, and sometimes it's not deserved. But at the end of the day, if your team's not winning and they're not producing, that's ultimately going to start to fall down on that head coach to end his tenure. And Sean Payton has put together some great winning seasons for you guys. Just got you one win away from a Super Bowl appearance, much quicker than most people thought you guys would be back into contention, right?
Way quicker than I thought.
Yeah. So with those results and what he's done with your guys' organization since coming here and taking over as head coach, I like the move for you guys. And yeah, I think ultimately this will keep you guys competitive. He is one of the better coaches in the entire NFL, and the AFC West just keeps getting stronger.
Yeah. So the only thing I will say on this is, as far as like maybe like negatively, I'm kind of curious to see how, him giving up play calling duties to Davis Webb, and let's say, obviously I hope and I think that that's going to work out, because I think Davis Webb is a very bright star in this league. And I think Davis Webb will probably get head coaching looks this upcoming offseason and probably end up getting a job. So I'm kind of curious to see how that dynamic is going to end up turning out after Davis Webb leaves. And is Sean Payton going to take back play calling duties? So, I mean, I wonder what the future of this looks like.
Yeah, fair enough. And that topic might be something we revisit in a buy or sell. Yeah. Might be a little teaser there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great news for you guys. Locked up your head coach, so you'll see him for the next, you said 2030 season?
Yeah, through the 2030 season. So
yeah, chasing that second Super Bowl for Sean Payton.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the next big news here. Patrick Mahomes got a contract extension.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the most part.
It's an extension.
So it's they added 2 years onto the deal. I can look everything up here real quick.
So from what I was gathering, this will take Patrick Mahomes up until his age 38 season, which will be like 2032.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
No, through 2033.
2033, that'll be his age 38 season. With the total value like we talked about reaching over.
Yeah, so total value of the contract is $504.75 million. With all of it being guaranteed through different contract mechanisms. So with this deal, Mahomes receives $239 million in new money, with the first 4 years fully guaranteed at signing. And then beginning in 2027, looks like his AAV will kick in at $64 million a year, and then he can earn up to $522 million in incentives. But yeah, just a crazy contract. He's a $500 million man. That's crazy. I mean, outside of like Michael Jordan, like I would have never thought that we'd see like $1 billion athlete. But
especially in the NFL,
yeah,
too. They don't have NBA money.
Yeah, with just his contract alone, and then all of the brand deals that he does, and then in the future, I'm sure he'll be a commentator or whatnot. Although he has the most annoying voice ever,
be worse than Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, he'll be $1 billion man. So pretty crazy. But I mean, when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, he deserves it. It sucks because like he is in the AFC West, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to give that kind of money to someone, it is going to be Patrick Mahomes. So
yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. If anyone's getting it, it's him, and it's hard to not say he well deserved because of the career that he has put together to this point. Surefire Hall of Famer, and he has a lot of years left in him, and. This is similar. Tom Brady had a very, very tough, I think it was his ACL as well, injury at like year 10 or 11, 10 to 12 season, and he got an extension as well, and obviously continued to play in the league for another damn near decade. So, it doesn't seem like they're concerned about Mahomes' injury and moving forward with that, or his age, being able to stay healthy, being able to stay competitive, and be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL. So if anyone deserves it, congrats to Mahomes, congrats to the Chiefs. This certainly should make him a Chief for life, which is exactly what you want as an organization when you land a franchise superstar quarterback.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I not much to really touch on there.
Yep.
I mean, we'll get into kind of what the beginning of the season looks like for him shortly. But, yeah, as far as contract goes, it's a crazy deal. It's deserved. So, yeah, let's get into the Jonathan Cooper stuff. So, been quite a hell of a week for him. So, originally, Jonathan Cooper was arrested for a domestic violence thing with his girlfriend. I guess he bit her phone. She thought he was cheating on her and a whole bunch of stuff. So that was the original stuff. And then, with the domestic violence stuff, I believe they both get taken to jail, correct?
It depends.
Okay.
So if there's, I'm not going to get into the weeds.
But all I know is that Jonathan Cooper spent the night in jail for the original part of this. And then a few days go by, and Jonathan Cooper got arrested again. And I'll pull up kind of the full details here.
So my understanding of this situation from reading affidavits is the original charge was just a misdemeanor criminal mischief. Not a good look for him, not a good look for the Broncos, certainly, but nothing, I guess, catastrophic, if you will.
No.
There were allegations of strangulation and stuff like that, and
we'll
his fiance or girlfriend ended up going to the hospital, getting some medical examinations, which ultimately upped his charge to a felony second-degree assault for strangulation, as well as harassment and violating a protection order. So things just progressively got worse for John Cooper. And, obviously we let the legal process do its thing. No one, we're not jumping to conclusions with this and what happens. But this is a terrible look for him. And this is not anything an organization wants to have on their team or go through. And it's not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
So before I kind of give my 2 cents, and I know it's a kind of a touchy subject, so we'll kind of stay pretty light with it. But I'm going to read this a little snippet of this article. It's from Jeff Legwold of ESPN. But so he said that the second time this month, Cooper had been arrested, in addition to multiple charges from his first arrest, including a felony charge. He is facing new charges, one for harassment from repeated phone calls and one for violation of a protection order. The protection order had been placed for Cooper's girlfriend after 2 additional charges, including a felony charge of second-degree assault by strangulation, were added from his June 4th arrest in Parker, Colorado. According to the arrest affidavit, Cooper allegedly sent 20 messages and made 2 unanswered phone calls to his girlfriend Thursday before going to her apartment and knocking on her door before leaving when she called 911. When police went to Cooper's home, officers said that he told them that he had not been served with a protection order. So with this, what I will say is, it's inexcusable. If you put your hands on a female, I'm never going to be on the side of a male. I know there's been situations, especially with athletes, where, women, they try to make allegations just to get some money. I don't think that this is what that is. And, I want to take it very lightly here as far as, if strangulation or if he put his hands on a female, I'm not about that. That's not cool. And for me, it's one of those things where, that shouldn't be acceptable. And, I think that the Denver Broncos should end up parting ways with the guy because it's just not okay. So, obviously with, young men, it's sometimes you have a break in your brain and you don't make the best decisions sometimes, but this is just too far, and you should know what's right and wrong in a situation like this. So,
yeah, there's no place for this in the NFL, and there's no place for this in society. So let's make that clear. So this is going to be an extensive, drawn-out process. This is not going to be something that's closed up quickly. The league will certainly be taking a look at the administrative penalties and sanctions that they're going to put forth as far as suspensions go for John Cooper. But if I'm the Broncos, good riddance. get the hell out of our building. Sucks.
Yeah. No,
I don't
agree.
care what you do on our field. I don't care what you're producing. This is just ridiculous behavior that has no place for it in our in your organization, in the league, in society. Pack your shit. So that's what I expect.
I agree
from your guys' front office, and
I think they will too.
I fully hope that you guys part ways and kick them out.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yeah. No, I agree. But, obviously don't want to get too much further into that because everything hasn't come out and it's not been resolved and whatnot. But if everything comes out being true and whatnot, there's no place for that, and it's inexcusable. So, all right. Let's get into some OTA updates for the AFC West. Let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders because we haven't mentioned them at all in this podcast quite yet. So, I feel like naturally we'll start with Fernando Mendoza in his first OTA. So, Matt, what are you hearing on the Raiders front and specifically Fernando Mendoza?
All good things is what I'm hearing on that front. It seems like they are very pleased with what they're seeing on the field from him. They've been working through certain stuff with mechanicals and footwork. He's shined with some big-time throws. They like his maturity. They like his football smarts. That they've praised his intelligence that has shown on the football field in OTAs. I've not heard a lot of negative outlook on Mendoza at all. They think he's exactly where he should be, coming off a first overall selection. And we'll talk about moving in with Kirk Cousins and what we anticipate moving forward with the Raiders. But he will be the highlight of their OTAs, right? This is your new prized possession. This is your new shiny thing, and all eyes are going to be on him. And so far, I have not heard anything concerning about what they have seen from Mendoza, and it sounds like they are very pleased and really excited about what they're getting in that man.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because I really hope he doesn't turn out to be good. But, I mean, the kind of the first 2 weeks here of OTAs, like all I've heard is that he's making the big time flashy plays, and it's one of those things that I feel like with all rookie quarterbacks you're always paying attention to. Okay, are his mechanics good? We know that he was able to succeed in college, but the NFL is a totally different game. So what's his footwork like? And that's like the main base of if a quarterback is going to be good or not in the NFL is his footwork. And everything that I've read so far is that that's one of the better things about Mendoza so far is his footwork is just unbelievable. So, I mean, it sucks. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks into this thing.
Early. It's OTAs.
It hasn't even played a game yet, but
he's checking the boxes.
Yeah, and
he's doing what he needs to be doing as a first overall pick.
Yeah.
So the Raiders got to be excited about that. He has cycled in with some equal reps with the first team offense, is what I'm seeing. However, with that being said, something coming out of Raiders OTAs is still Kirk Cousins is taking those first team reps primarily. Mendoza has been cycling in a little bit here and there to get those reps with first-team offense and obviously leading that second-team offense, but Kirk Cousins is leading that first-team offense in reps, and it sounds like out of the Raiders camp, the expectation is Kirk Cousins is starting week 1, which I don't think is a massive surprise to us. We kind of anticipated that would likely be the case when they signed him. We'll see how long that lasts. That's something that we're going to get into later in this episode. But, yeah, so far it sounds like they are actually pleased with Kirk Cousins as well. He's showing he's healthy and pretty energized, poised, and they're liking what they see out of Kirk Cousins too.
Yeah.
Good problem to have. I mean, if you're getting a young – they didn't have another option to bring into the room. Geno Smith was gone, right? They shipped the bag there. If you're looking for a vet presence to help mentor a young kid that you're bringing in and to relieve a little bit of pressure where you don't feel like you are required and have to start him day one, Kirk Cousins was that only thing on the market that you can shift to. So when that deal came out that they were signing Kirk, it made total sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, so we'll kind of get into I have a little bit of a buy or sell here scenario. So I'm going to save it. But with Cousins, I think he he's just a worse version of himself, and like he was always just like the average guy, and I just think he's a worse version of himself. I think that he has like great leadership qualities, but I mean, he can look as great as he can, I guess, or healthy as he can in OTAs and training camp and whatnot, but there's just a cap on Cousins, and
you're getting what you get out of him with his age and experience. But what you're bringing him into the building for is he's been around the league a long time. He understands how the NFL works. He understands the process of coming into the NFL and growing throughout the NFL and building in the offseason. He understands all this. He's been around a long time, and that's what you're bringing him in for. It's a lot of the intangibles besides what he's going to do on the field. Because you're exactly right. He is capped at what you're going to get out of Kirk Cousins. I don't think anyone is like impressed or overly excited to see Kirk Cousins on the field. But that's not why he's in the building. So I get it. And, I think we'll probably touch on that again in buy or sell. Yeah. With the Raiders, only other things, I mean, that's pretty much been the highlight of their OTAs is that quarterback competition and what they're seeing out of Mendoza. A lot of emphasis on the O-line for the Raiders has been big. Obviously, we know about bringing in Tyler Linderbaum, but they're really trying to get that O-line set in a Kubiak scheme to make it the most efficient. And then Brock Bowers, as we all would expect, has kind of been the focal point of the offense throughout OTAs. He is their primary pass-catching option. I don't care that he's their tight end. He is their best receiver as well. He's their best pass catcher they have on that roster. A lot of the air attack is going to be revolved around Brock Bowers, and that's what we're seeing so far in OTA.
Yeah, I think that so with this Raiders offensive line, I think especially going into this new scheme, I think you're going to see dividends pay out on that next year when they're together and they've played together for a year. I think it will be better. Obviously, bringing in Linderbaum and all that, but I still think they need a few pieces on that line, and I think they need to play in this scheme for a year for you to start seeing it paying off. So I think we're going to see the big switch for the Raiders. Obviously, there's a lot of ifs with this Raiders team. There's a lot of young pieces. But if all of that comes together, they have the makings of a pretty scary offense. But I think that you'll start seeing that next season. So, all right. Well, that's enough Raiders talk.
What's coming out of Chiefs camp for OTAs? Let's jump there.
Yeah.
Anything you've seen, heard that's jumping out at you? I know a lot of it is regarding Mahomes' health and progressing towards the season. How much participation are we going to be seeing out of him as we move into training camp, all those things. But anything jumping out at you for the Chiefs OTAs that you've seen or read?
Yeah, so, I mean, Andy Reid's kind of like toying around with this Patrick Mahomes stuff. Like, he's not really given much, but he's also given hope. But, like, I don't know. I don't believe it. I would be genuinely shocked if Patrick Mahomes played week 1. That would be a hell of a recovery.
No.
But yeah, Andy Reid's kind of messing around with it. I think he's having
it's
a little
not
bit of
off
fun.
the table.
Yeah,
it's not off the table.
I mean, we'll see what that looks like. From what I've heard, I don't think we're expected to really see Mahomes at all, really, in training camp once we get there. But I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, just some work on the side for him. Maybe he jumps into a little bit towards the end of preseason. We'll know a lot more come training camp on whether Mahomes is going to be ready week 1. But news in regards to his ACL and his recovery, everything is on track that we're hearing. There have been no setbacks. Surgery's clean. He's recovering as expected. If anything, sounds like he might be a little ahead of schedule is what they're hoping. But no big news, which is exactly what you want to hear when someone's recovering from that kind of injury. So sounds like all good news that you can ask for with Mahomes right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just praying to God that week 1 he's not there.
Well, and if he is, I don't think you're getting your 100%.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, Xavier Worthy, he's been kind of making some moves here in OTAs. He's really been kind of coming through, and obviously without Rashee Rice and whatnot, he's maybe stepping into that number 1 role for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Chiefs right now is anything worth a damn in your receiver room, because that is an uninspiring group, and that is a topic of discussion when you talk about this Chiefs team. And we all know about Rice's health and as well as his legal situation with now he's like 30 days, serving 30 days in jail. He'll be out by the end of June is my understanding. They're expecting still full participant come training camp. But he's not there. He's not on the field. So with that being said, you got to look for some other stuff in that room. And it sounds like Worthy has been shining. He's turned a lot of heads. He's making a lot of the big plays. He's certainly growing as a receiver. I'm not the biggest Xavier Worthy fan out there. I do see some stuff from him that's enticing, and I can see why he'll turn some heads in some scenarios, and he can make some big plays. But I'm not sold on Xavier Worthy as a high-quality receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just not. But it sounds like he's making the most of this opportunity in OTAs, and he's really stepping into that role without Rice being on the field, and that's what you want to see if you're the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, with Worthy, it's just like I feel like he's
limited.
He is what he is.
In what he can provide on the field.
You know, he's
good
a
at what he's
field
good
stretcher, but, yeah, he's not like a super dynamic guy. You know, if I'm the Chiefs, you know, I kind of wonder why they haven't – maybe they have, but why haven't they reached out to Stephon Diggs, you know?
Tyreek.
Or, I mean, Tyreek Hill.
And maybe there is some stuff on the back end that Hill's going to sign with them come training camp, or who knows, right? Because I think he's going to end up on a roster come the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He just is. And the favorite is probably going to be a return to Kansas City, but who knows? And they have the other receiver in the room that they have some hopes for as a breakout player is Tyquan Thornton. Haven't heard a ton about him so far. Super early, but he is a guy that they've kind of kept their eyes on to have a breakout year.
Yeah. All right, well, that's enough wide receiver talk for the Chiefs. So last thing I want to touch on here for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think that this is a big-time thing for them. So Eric Bieniemy is back as offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. And when Patrick Mahomes was at his best, Eric Bieniemy was the right-hand man for Andy Reid. Obviously, there's the whole thing with him not being able to get a head coaching gig. Don't know what that was about, probably just a bad interview. But when it comes to Eric Bieniemy being the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, and even with Jaden Daniels in his first year, you know, he is a hell of an offensive coordinator.
Yep.
So I think that this is a really big addition to this Chiefs team this year, and I think that it could spell some trouble for us in the AFC West.
Yeah, it's going to be a big return for them, and having that familiar face in the building, that transition period becomes a lot easier for them in reacclimating Bieniemy to this team and this offense, and knowing the personnel and the staff that he's working around. It sounds like Bieniemy is bringing a really high emphasis on their red zone efficiency and their third down, which the Chiefs both struggled in pretty bad last year. It was a big part of why they weren't closing out games. They weren't converting third down at a high percentage, and their red zone offense was not efficient. And Bieniemy sounds like one of his first things coming in OTAs is he has a high stress on improving both those areas, and we know what that can do to a team and how that's going to help them close out games. So we've seen a lot with Bieniemy and being a top candidate for like every head coaching cycle for several years and not getting them, and then popping out to college and then coming back. And I think if you're the Chiefs, this is exciting to have him back in the building.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Matthew, do you want to hit Chargers first or Broncos first?
I don't care. You call it.
All right, let's go Broncos first.
Right.
Cool.
You take us home with the Broncos. Tell me what you're seeing, hearing, et cetera, out of OTAs.
Yeah, so there's kind of three phases to OTAs. So the first 2 weeks are not mandatory, but then there's mandatory minicamp, which is happening this week. So the first 2 weeks, obviously the biggest news is Bo Nix and his recovery from his ankle injury. So with Bo Nix, he's kind of been off He's been at practice, just been off to the side, not doing anything. But the great stuff is he is practicing this week. So he'll be back. This was kind of the timeline all along. There was that fake photo of his ankle out there. It was actually Alex Smith's leg when he broke his leg. But no, Bo Nix, his recovery is on time. He'll be ready to go for training camp. And he is actually practicing this week. So really, really awesome news there. We need as many reps as that we can get, especially with the addition of Jalen Waddle and Davis Webb taking over play calling. All the reps that you can get early on in the year like this, I believe, is going to be important. So really positive stuff there. The best thing out of this training or the OTA period so far is Jalen Waddle. He has been a star. He has been everything that we thought he was going to be. He's stepped in right away and just been explosive. He's Pat Surtain's even like I'm having troubles against him. So really, really excited about Jalen Waddle. But before we get into the rest, let's talk Bo Nix and Jalen Waddle. So what do you think about
I'm glad you said what you said about the importance of Nix being on the field and building that rapport and relationship with his new receiver, but also with his new play caller, Davis Webb. I do think that is extremely important. You want to start that process and that molding as early as possible because we know that there's going to be speed bumps, and that's not a knock on either of them. That's just the nature of the beast. That's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So the news that you guys have around Nix and his recovery is fantastic news for you guys. Everything's on track. He had that cleanup procedure about a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. Everything's going great. That, like I said with Mahomes, that's exactly what you want to hear. Things are trending the right direction. The fact he's going to be back at, he's been at practice just in a non-participating capacity, if you will, but that's still big. That's still, having him in the building is big. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to start getting him on the field, getting those first-team reps. He's going to start to mold with his new offensive core, which really isn't that new, minus Jalen Waddle. I mean, a lot of it is that same group, which is good. But building that connection with a brand-new receiver in the room and with a new play caller is huge. So a lot of the stuff I've seen on the Broncos in OTAs is positive, trending upwards for Bo Nix. Yeah. And with Waddle, yeah, exactly what you're saying. They're impressed, which they should be. Waddle is a fantastic receiver. He has incredible talent. I really liked him as a receiver. I'm bummed he went to the Broncos because I liked him in Miami. And I hate to have to root against him now. But here you're getting exactly what you paid the price to get. Say what you will about everyone giving you shit about giving up a first-round pick for him, all these things. Well, now you're seeing it on the football field, and they couldn't be happier. Everyone in that building will rave about Jalen Waddle any chance they get. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like he is fitting like a glove there, and they love it.
Yeah. So what I will say about the whole Bo Nix and Davis Webb stuff is I don't really have too much worries about it because Davis Webb was the quarterback coach when Bo Nix came into the league, and he has been his quarterback coach. So if there's anyone that knows what Bo Nix likes, how he plays, what things don't work, it's Davis Webb. So obviously, yes, they need to get field reps going and whatnot, but Davis Webb knows Bo Nix. They're very close. So I don't really have too many concerns there. So Matthew,
they're gonna blow up his ankle again. the halo.
Funny joke, man. Yeah, funny joke. Okay, but you wrote down defensive depth here for the Broncos. What are you talking about here?
I think they're looking at the repercussions of Jonathan Cooper and the subtraction or loss of John Franklin Myers. I think that's the biggest thing you're seeing with the Broncos' defensive depth is there's just a couple new people that are going to be stepping into bigger roles and how that depth is benefiting Denver. Denver already had a top-tier defense, one of the best, if not the best in the entire NFL. And yeah, they're going to have to replace John Franklin Myers, and we're starting to get this news about Jonathan Cooper. We're all going on assumptions of how this is playing out with Cooper, but that's a 8.5 sack player.
Yep.
Roughly between 8 and 10 sack player. That is production that has to be replaced. He is a good player. He's a difference maker on the field. And it seems like Denver's defensive depth is adjusting well to this. I know you guys have your rookie Onyedem.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Good job,
Onyedem?
dude. Yeah.
I knew I'd fuck that up. But Onyedem stepping into a bigger role and what's going to be expected from him as a rookie, filling some shoes, and kind of that committee approach that you guys have to fill John Franklin Myers' position and potentially now John Cooper's. I think that's where we're going with that defensive depth.
Yeah, so what I will say is that Q Robinson, he is a guy that we drafted last year. Vance Joseph raves about this guy. And, sorry, when he was on the field last year, it was a very limited role. He was constantly in the backfield. The guy has so much talent at the pass rushing position. So I look for a big leap out of him this year if he gets the opportunity. But there's also been some rumblings about maybe the Broncos bringing in a guy like Cam Jordan or a possible reunion with Von Miller. So we'll kind of see how that
Von's
goes.
chomping at the bit about that.
So the minute that Von Miller was traded away from the Broncos, he's wanted to come back to Denver. He loves Denver so much. Like he'll post every single offseason that he wants to be a Denver Bronco. But I think that there is a realistic fit for him now. So I mean, we'll see how that happens. I think whether it is Cam Jordan or Von Miller, I think that those are guys that can come in right away and get you 6, 7, 8 sacks. But if they don't, and we end up kind of going with what we have on the roster already, keep an eye on Q Robinson. I think that he'll be a guy that makes a name for himself this year. So
good to know.
Yeah.
You got anything else exciting out of Broncos camp, or?
Not really.
That's your major storylines?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll kind of have a little bit more excitement after this week. I know that I don't know if this is a league-wide thing, but I know for sure that the way the Broncos operate is that media can't be in attendance until Thursday for these OTA practices. So it'll be kind of exciting to hear and see what Bo Nix looks like on Thursday. So pretty exciting stuff there. But yeah, Matthew, let's get into the Los Angeles Chargers. So with this, kind of what I've been hearing is a lot of what Mike McDaniel's bringing into your organization. Lots of energy. I know that he's trying to work with Herbert here. He's trying to change some things, and just a little bit of a tease. Those two together, I have one of my buy or sell scenarios there. But yeah, I know that Herbert's kind of working on his mechanics, looking to tweak some things there. But it's more of like his footwork and getting him back into being one of the premier passers in this league. So.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. A lot of the OTA news from the Chargers is all Mike McDaniel surrounding, right? Which is expected. He's our biggest fish, and he's not even a player, but he is going to be the biggest difference maker to this team, in my opinion. OTA started with a little bit of drama that shouldn't have been drama. Herbert missed the voluntary side of the beginning of OTAs, which he's never missed in his career so far. And he missed it because he went on tour with Madison Beer. That's it, dude, like that. And It was funny because even Harbaugh comes out after and was like, Herbert hit me up about wanting to go support Madison Beer on her tour in, I think they went to Paris, somewhere in Europe. Mm-hmm. And Harbaugh was like, yeah, I think his quote was, I'll drive you to the airport. Like, whatever you got to do. Like, go support her. So there was some drama, like, Herbert should be there. He's been there every year of his entire career. He took a week to go support his girlfriend on. Yeah,
why is that funny?
I'll leave it at that. So yeah, that was like, it was stupid drama that should never have been. But since Herbert's been back, yeah, the biggest news is this mechanical overhaul of his footwork and the new scheme that McDaniel's bringing, because it is entirely different than what Greg Roman was running, and even Kellen Moore before that, and Joe Lombardi before that, and every OC that we've been cycling through. This is like his 5th OC in like 7 years, which is crazy.
Yikes.
But yeah, this is brand new shit. So McDaniel's changing Herbert's footwork, and he said he made it a mission to watch every throw that Herbert's made in the NFL so far. That's like days of film that he had to sit there and watch. And he's a football nerd. McDaniel is just a guru on the offense, and he's an innovative dude from the Shanahan tree, so he wants to work on Herbert's footwork. What I've read so far about that is shifting from the like staggered stance, the right foot slightly in front of the left foot, or vice versa. Herbert primarily has always been a right foot in front of the left foot stance as a quarterback in his drop back. They have now shifted that to almost an equal platform footing, and sometimes even a left foot staggered in front of the right. You hear this and you're like, okay, why does it matter how he stands? It actually does. And defensive coordinators study this kind of shit on tells for the offense. So they're working on Herbert's footwork and getting him more in this equal line stance and how that's going to help with their mobility, faking RPOs, movement off the line. And then the biggest emphasis from McDaniel has been quick release. His biggest mission since coming to the Chargers has been, we need to keep Justin Herbert upright. He was the most hit quarterback in the NFL. He was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. The rate he's going at with the hits he is taking, I'm surprised he's still in the league at this point, and not suffering more severe injuries. So they're trying to get Herbert's release at sub 2.4 seconds from snap. That has been the goal of what they're looking to do. That's what McDaniel started to do with Tua in Miami to keep him upright, because they didn't have a stellar O-line there, yet Tua was getting hit at a far less rate than any other quarterback, right? And a lot of that is what McDaniel is doing in their scheme. So that's a lot of what's going on in our OTAs. Herbert hasn't even thrown the ball to his first two offense. He's not even throwing. If you've seen it, have you seen that ball with handles on each side?
Yeah.
So it's the motion, but he's not throwing anything. All they are doing is working on his footwork and the playbook and getting quick release. So that's been our biggest news, is just transitioning Herbert's mechanics a little bit, which is a scary thought to think. McDaniel thinks Herbert can be way better than he is. And obviously you know how high I am on him, and how high a lot of people are on him as a potential top 5, top 8 quarterback in the entire NFL. To think that there's another level that his game can get to is pretty scary. So super exciting for us. You talked about his energy he brings. He's just kind of like a magnet for the spotlight. McDaniel's fun. He's just a fun guy. He brings the energy, and our OTAs has been primarily focused on the impact he's going to make in this offense.
Well, so the one I'm curious about is your injuries. Okay, so obviously you guys were extremely injured last year. So in this OTA, how are guys like Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, Omarion Hampton, how are they looking in this OTA so far?
Fantastic news for us so far on this. Everything is trending in a great direction. I believe it was Joe Alt that kind of slipped at the podium by saying, the team has kind of told me I have no restrictions at this point. If he wanted to be full go, he's good. He's good to go. Slater has already started running and full sprinting and has no concerns. His injury was worse than Joe Alt's with that patellar tendon. That's a gnarly injury for an offensive lineman. So everything's looking great. We don't have concerns at all that either of them will be limited come training camp. Hampton's back on the field, and he's looking good. You're getting minimal push or effort in OTAs. They're obviously not full going. So we understand that. So we're weighing how much of that is injury versus just them being conservative before camp with their guys returning. But all great news. We have no concerns about Hampton returning, Alt returning, Slater returning. All are on track to be full participants when need be. Cool. I will say the last thing I'll throw out there for Chargers OTAs, this has been a very big topic of discussion, is the guard competition. That is going to be big in training camp because, when Jake Slaughter was drafted to be our starting left guard is what we all assumed. In OTA so far, there's a guy you've probably never even heard of. His name's Coyote Awosika.
Nope.
So we signed him from Detroit, and he has been the first-team left guard in the entire of OTAs. First-team left guard.
What are we going to compare this guy to Quentin Nelson now, or what are we doing here?
I'm not high on Awosika, but they love what they see from him. And from what I've been reading and seeing from the Chargers beat writers, specifically Daniel Popper and the others out there, they're saying they're slotting Jake Slaughter as a lock as your left guard is not accurate at this point in time. Awosika is going to have a legitimate chance come training camp to be the starting left guard. Before Awosika, it was Trevor Penning, right? We signed him back. That was more just like depth at the O-line position.
Yep.
But since they've got this dude from Detroit, he has been their starting guard all of OTAs. Slaughter is still rotating. He's running primarily all the second-team offense as that second-team guard. He is rotated in with the first team. He's even done some center work too, which was his primary position at University of Florida. But that guard competition is going to be something to watch because it doesn't sound like this is all just we're rolling with it. It's just fun seeing what we got in a guy. It sounds like there is some legitimacy to the fact that Awosika is going to make a pitch to be the starter.
Cool.
So that's just something to keep an eye out. For rookies, Messidor looks good. That's it. They're very impressed. They're speaking very highly of him and what he has shown. They talk about his maturity and his experience, him being a 25-year-old rookie. They're saying a lot of the speed bumps that young dudes come into the league with, Thule had it when he came in, is not present with Messidor. They're really, really pleased with what he's showing and think he's going to be big.
Right on. Well, yeah. The last thing I'll say here for the Chargers is I just traded for Omarion Hampton in one of my dynasty leagues, so I need him to have a good year outside of when he plays the Denver Broncos. Okay? So, all right, well, let's get into the fun part of this episode. That was just a whole bunch of
updates,
kind of getting everyone back up to speed here. So, we are going to be doing our first buy or sell episode. So, way this kind of works for those of you that don't know. So, we'll kind of go back and forth of giving each other scenarios. They're meant to be somewhat controversial. And we'll either say, yeah, I'll buy that, or no, there's no way. I'm selling that idea. There's no way that's happening. So, Matthew, I know that we had a couple listeners give us some buy or sell ideas. So before we get into the ones that we have for each other, let's get into the ones that some of the listeners sent in.
Yeah, sounds good. A lot of these, I got a few from our former special guest, Tyler Baker with the Houston Texans. So he's got a couple buy or sells for us and wants to hear our opinions on these. So the first couple are stat related, and I'll throw out the first buy or sell this episode is Ashton Jeanty reaches 1,400 total yards this season. Are you buying or selling Jeanty hits 1,400 yards?
All-purpose?
All-purpose yards.
I'll buy that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards buying it too. I'm really high on what's going to happen with Jeanty and the Kubiak offense. And I just don't know how they're going to do the split backfield with Mike Washington Jr. and what's going to and obviously depending on his growth as a rookie. But that was our first. You're buying Jeanty at 1,400?
Yeah, so I mean I think
you got to figure
like he can get, in my opinion, easily to 1,000 yards rushing.
That was my thought process here. I have Jeanty breaking 1,000 yards rushing. I think he was at 909 or 919 or something last year. I think Jeanty gets close to 1,100 rushing. And I can buy that Jeanty can put up 300 through the air. Yeah. So I'm buying Ashton Jeanty at 1,400 total.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Next buy or sell, we have Omarion Hampton at 10-plus touchdowns. This doesn't specify. If we're going, I'll start this. I'm buying it, and this is gonna lead into some other buy or sells that I have. But I'm absolutely buying it. I think 10+ rushing touchdowns is a possibility, and if we're talking rushing plus receiving, that's an easy buy for me because I think he's going to blow up in this offense. How they're utilizing him, how Mike McDaniel's designing this offense around that type of game, I'm gonna buy that.
I'll buy it too, just because I think that if Mike McDaniel decides to use Hampton like he did Achane, then I think 10 touchdowns is rather easy. So I'll buy that.
We're sticking consistent. We need a disagreement here. Rashee Rice, 100+ receptions. I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm selling that too. Yeah. Well, first of all,
let's throw a caveat. Rashee Rice plays a full season.
Yeah, like, is he playing a full season? And, like, even if he is, I don't even think, if he plays 17 games this year, I don't even think I'm taking 100+
Still
reception.
No. I'm borderline if we're guaranteed 17 games from him just with that receiver room. But obviously, I'm not confident Rashee Rice is playing 17 games this year in the first place. I'm not convinced on their receiving core. And I know Rashee Rice is a talented player. I'm not as high as Rashee Rice as a lot of people are, so I'm selling.
Yeah, I just don't think that, like, let's say he plays 17 games, like, he has to average, like, 7 or 8 catches a game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Not mine.
I don't think so.
We have 2 more from Mr. Baker. Both are Broncos related.
Okay.
First one, buy or sell. Bo Nix has 35-plus total touchdowns. What do you have last year?
Well, he 29.
I got you.
Yeah.
So he had 25
Okay.
throwing touchdowns last year.
What? 4 rushing?
Let's see what he had on the ground.
He had 4.
So 25 passing, his rushing touchdowns. They don't make this shit easy to read at all. This is all advanced. Oh, here we go. Rushing stats. Bo Nix had 5 rushing touchdowns. So he had 30 total touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
The year before that, he had 29 passing.
Yeah.
And let's see. He had 29 passing the year before, and he had 4 rushing. So he had
33.
Yeah, so he had, so far we have 33 combined touchdowns and 30.
Yeah.
Are you buying or selling Bo Nix 35 combined touchdowns?
I'm buying that. I mean, I think that he's going to take a huge leap this year. I think that, so something that Davis Webb said in a press conference last week is that he thinks that we're going to see a similar path with Bo Nix and Jalen Waddle to the first year of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs when they brought in Stephon Diggs. So I believe we're going to see a season such as, 4,200 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns, and like another 4 rushing touchdowns. So that would put him at 36.
Okay.
So, I'll buy 35.
I'm gonna sell it.
Of course you are.
I know you.
Of course you are.
I think he's gonna be on the cusp. I'm guessing another. I think he can push 30 passing. He had 29 and 25. I think he might set his career record of passing touchdowns with 30. I don't see him getting over 5 on the ground.
Why?
I just don't. You guys aren't gonna do it this year. I think there's going to be some step back.
Okay, tell me you
Broncos
don't
offense.
watch Bo Nix without telling me you don't watch Bo Nix, because the guy is truly dynamic.
We'll see if he plays the full season. We'll see how this ankle holds.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to have – I think he'll have a better year than he did last year, but I don't see the jump that you guys see into like elite stardom. I just don't see it. I think 35 is a fair number, and I'm glad that Tyler threw out 35 rather than like 40 or 45.
Yeah, well, I would have sold that.
But I just don't see I don't see elite performance.
Okay.
I see a above average, borderline star quarterback.
I mean, he's played just as good as Justin Herbert in the last 2 years.
Context.
So, what do you mean context?
Back to the context.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to blame it on the offensive line again.
I'm selling Bo Nix at 35 plus.
Right.
There's one more, and it is Broncos related.
I might make a bet here.
We could do some bets.
Yeah.
We should do an episode just on bets.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, so buy or sell, Broncos hold the Chiefs under 30 total points collectively in their 2 matchups. He started with 28, and then he said, fuck it, make it 30. Broncos hold the Chiefs under 30 points collectively in both matchups. Buy or sell?
That's hard. I'm selling that.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, so that's difficult because it obviously depends on week 1. Is Patrick Mahomes playing? Anytime we play the Chiefs, I feel like we always do hold them to less than 20 points or around 20 points. But I don't know. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play week 1, then sure, maybe. But I would just find it hard to keep them to 15 points per game. Like that's pretty crazy to me. So
I'm gonna buy it actually.
Really?
Really? And I'm big on the Broncos defense as much as I shit on them and those divisional games. I do think the Chiefs can push a game where they maybe get 20. Yeah, well, fuck that. If they get over 20, I'm kind of fucked on this. But I can see a game where you guys hold them to 10 points.
Yeah.
10 points or I truly can. Whether that be like a 13-10 game, I think you guys are going to have some nitty-gritty, ugly game against Kansas City. I agree with you. It does depend on what happens week 1. But with that being said, I think if he stuck at 28, I would sell it. 30, I'm going to buy it. I think your defense shuts him out one game.
So you're buying that, but you're not buying Bo Nix.
I'm buying that one for you guys. Yeah. So that concludes Tyler's buy or sell. Do you want to jump into some of yours?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's just let's go one for one. Let's just
Bo Nix is the MVP.
Let's fucking sell. Yeah. All right. Let's just go one for one. You start us off. Give me your first.
So I'm not going to start off with some Broncos stuff, but all right. So I had Patrick Mahomes starts all 17 games and looks like vintage Patrick Mahomes.
You're like you're reading off my list, dude. I have one very similar to that I'll scoop over. I'm going to sell it, and I'm not going to sell that he looks like vintage Mahomes because I think he will be good.
Okay.
And I think he will be himself. I'm not worried about Mahomes' fall off that some people are. I'm selling the 17 game start.
Okay.
I think there's going to be and I am in serious concern that he misses week 1. Mm-hmm. So that right there would be a reason to sell it in and of itself. And I don't like the Chiefs' offensive line, and I think that they're going to get down the stretch where they're a desperate team that's fighting for a playoff spot. Similar to last year, I do still think the Chargers are a better team. I think the Broncos are a better team. They're going to need some hero ball from Mahomes, and I think that might result in an injury similar to what we saw last year.
Sure.
I'm just not buying he's playing all 17 games. I think if he doesn't miss week 1, I think something might happen throughout the year. I'm not saying another torn ACL type injury, but I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell that he plays all 17. I'll buy the part that he looks like vintage Mahomes. I do think we're going to see a very good version of Mahomes this year.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you there. So
okay,
yeah.
So I had one. I'm gonna skip that one, but I had Mahomes remains healthy and has a bounce back year. But I'll skip that. Let's see. I'll start with the Raiders on one of mine. Fernando Mendoza will start before week 6. Buy or sell?
I'm buying that. Yeah, I honestly think I was honestly going to even go to make it even more tough of Fernando Mendoza starts week 1. I just could see a scenario where he lights it up in training camp and they get all excited and they start him like right away.
Did you have that written down?
I did.
Okay.
But I think that this is more of a scenario where, let's say the first 3 games of the year, the Raiders come out and look like dog shit with Cousins. Like I can see it happening by week 4. So yeah, I'm definitely buying before week 6.
I'm trying to remember from our past episode, we penciled that Jets game as a potential Mendoza debut, and I wanted to see what week
that was. Like way later on. I think it was like week 10 or something like that.
It was week 8.
8. Okay.
Shit, man. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah?
I'm going to buy it.
I'm just kind of buying the Mendoza hype right
now. I'm going to buy it. I don't think it's going to be an ideal starting game for him, and I don't think that they're going to care. I think they're going to get into a position where they're so excited about what they have in him and they want to see him on the field, and they're going to get to a point of what do we have to lose here. I think an ideal scenario is that they let it ride with Cousins. They know they're not going to be a contending team. Like they have a realistic approach, but I think push is going to come to shove after 5 weeks or so, and somewhere within those first 5 weeks, we're going to see Mendoza hit the field. But this also said start a game, not coming in and Kirk gets pulled.
Yeah.
Because I think we see a realistic outcome where Kirk gets pulled one game, Mendoza goes in, balls out for like half a quarter, and then they go, yeah, you're starting next game.
Yeah.
That's how I see that kind of unfolding. So what you got in your next one?
All right. I'm going to go to Chargers just to see how delusional you are.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Okay.
Justin Herbert.
Uh-huh.
This is a statistic one. This is like one of my only statistic ones.
Okay.
Justin Herbert throws for 4,700 plus passing yards.
Buying it.
God, you delusional
Buying it.
fuck. You are such a delusional sack of shit, dude.
Buying it.
All right, go ahead. Give it to me. Why?
Mike McDaniel.
You are so delusional.
So here's what I'll say about Herbert's stats. So the last 3 years been uninspiring.
Yeah, go ahead. Give him to
He
him.
had 3,700,
Yep.
3,800,
Yep.
3,100.
So you're telling me that the guy's going to throw for at least a grand more?
Yes. And so he started his career with 3+. The first season he had 4,400, and he didn't even start that season. The next season he had over 5,000, and then he had damn near 4,800 before this dip. I think my buy on this is contingent on he has protection. And I think that's a fair buy. I understand they want to open up the run game. The run game is only going to make your pass game more dangerous also. I think McDaniel is going to work wonders with Justin Herbert. This is going to be the best connection he's ever had. This is the best offensive line he has ever had, assuming it stays on the field. And you'll probably call me crazy. I could see a 5,000-yard season from Herbert. Okay. I truly could. I think he can get back to 2022 where he hit 5,000.
So I have a question for you.
Send it.
Maybe this is one of your buy or sells. I don't know.
It probably is.
What do you think Omarion Hampton will average in yards per game this year?
It's not my buy or sell, but I have one about Hampton.
Okay.
80s.
Okay. So you're telling me that here, let me do some quick math. So
for the record, I think the Chargers will have a top 5 offense in 2026.
So you're telling me that Omarion Hampton's going to average 80 yards a game and get 1,400 yards rushing, and Justin Herbert's going to average 275 yards a game.
300.
Dude, you are delusional.
I think Herbert will hit 4,700.
That would be one of the greatest offenses of all time, Matthew.
We're going to throw all over the field, dude.
Matthew.
Herbert is going to run show with Mike
in
McDaniel.
This scenario,
we have great weapons.
Where Justin Herbert throws for 300 yards a game and Omarion Hampton rushes for 80, that would be one of the greatest offenses of all time. You're telling me you think that you're going to have one of the greatest offenses of all time?
I'd have to see the stats on if that's the greatest offense of all time.
Okay, so
because
Peyton Manning threw for.
I have Hampton breaking. What would 80 yards a game? 1,300.
That's like, almost 1,400 yards.
The average per game isn't going to equate the total, though, right? Like, because you're going to have the standout games where he gets 200 rushing, and then you're going to have the games where he gets 20 rushing.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to offset in that nature to balance it out.
I need to look something up here real quick.
But I do believe that Justin Herbert can hit 4,700 passing yards. I think so. That is 1,000 more than he had last year. You got to figure his passing attempts are going to go up. His receiving core is only getting better. His pass catching core is only getting better. His O-line is the best he's ever had. It's the best offensive coordinator he's ever had. And not just best offensive coordinator he's ever had, it's the best offensive coordinator in the entire NFL, in my opinion. So with that being said, it's hard not to know that the ceiling of Justin Herbert, well, we're also going to factor in Justin Herbert's rushing game this year too and how he's going to utilize his legs. But I don't think saying 4,700 yards is crazy.
Okay, so
he almost got that for 3 straight years under shitty offense.
So listen to this, Matthew. No NFL team has ever reached both 4,800 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards in the same season.
We're not going to get 1,500 rushing.
Okay, 1,400.
I think Hampton gets. Then maybe I'm over generous on his per game. I think Hampton gets around 1,100, between 1,000 and 1,100. That's what I would predict for Hampton.
Okay. Now let me look that up.
But we're talking. Look at what Herbert did his first 3 years: 4,300, 4,700, 5,000.
Matthew, that was 4 years ago.
I know, and this is way better than it was then. Look at his offensive line then. Look at his offensive core.
So here we go.
Look at his receiving core then.
No NFL team has ever reached both 4,800 passing yards and 1,200 rushing yards in the same season. No team ever.
Okay.
So that's my point here. It's just like you would say that it would be like the greatest offense of all time.
I think we will have a top 5 offense in the entire league this year. We should.
Okay.
I believe that.
But I'm just saying, like, if you are projecting that, like, Omarion Hampton and Justin Herbert are going to have, like, these crazy good years, like, one is going to be better than the other.
That is fair.
Because that's offensive philosophy.
But I have a hard time putting a roof on the capabilities of a guy, Omarion Hampton and Justin Herbert with Mike McDaniel. I think you can see historic production.
So I
truly do.
Sure, but not like submit yourself as the best offense of all time.
Between 1,000 and 1,100 yards.
I think that it is very fair to say that Omarion Hampton can get to 1,200 yards. I believe that. But to sit here and say that I don't think Justin Herbert's going to get anywhere close to 4,500 passing yards.
I'll buy that too.
I think that it's more realistic that Omarion Hampton gets to 1,200 and Justin Herbert has around 4,000. That's realistic.
And it depends on how they operate. Well, what is this offensive line going to do? If it falls apart, everything's going to go to shit. Mm-hmm. And what is Mike McDaniel's vision on balancing out the run game and the pass game?
And what I will say is if my scenario comes true where Herbert gets 4,000 and Hampton runs for 1,200, you're still you're probably the best offense in the NFL.
You think?
Yes. I don't think
that
you
should
realize.
I would almost be surprised if it doesn't happen, though.
Like, I would honestly say, it's
so
very rare for quarterbacks to throw over 4,500 yards.
So
that's
if
like
you're
very
even saying
4,000,
Herbert needs 300 more passing yards than he did last year.
Yeah.
I think we will easily buy that all day long.
Yeah, and I'll buy that.
Easy. And then all we're buying is that Hampton gets over 1,000. That's also, I think you would buy that right now, that Hampton gets over 1,000.
Yes, I would. But the reason why I threw out that number of 4,700 yards was just to see how delusional you really are.
I can't put a ceiling on it. He's already hit 5K once. He's topped 4,400 3 times in his career. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand the run game and how we're going to balance it out. But Herbert can easily get 4,700 yards under Mike McDaniel. He just can. But they got to give him the opportunity.
Sure, but it's going to be at the expense of the run game. That's just how it works.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. And that makes sense.
Like, all I'm saying is, like, you can't have both there. So it's like
we're going to have both.
You'll have the most historic offense of all time, and that record will never be touched.
All right, let me jump to my next one.
I'm glad I did that. That just made my entire day.
That was a good stat one. I'm trying to see if I have a Broncos one for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a handful in here. J.K. Dobbins plays over 14 games by herself.
You know, we're talking about delusion, and every part of me wants to buy this, but I can't. You know, what I will say is that I do have this just gut feeling that this is the year that J.K. Dobbins is healthy. But, again, I can't sit here
every fan base
get
that's
on
had
you.
him
Yeah.
feels away. So I get that optimism.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to sell that.
I'll sell.
Yeah.
All right, hit me. You got another?
Yeah. All right.
I got to start deleting these as I go.
All right, so the Raiders are a surprise contender and get over 500.
Sell.
Yeah?
I'll sell it. I think you're going to get flashes from the Raiders that show your optimism of the future and be happy with some pieces that you have. But after we looked at that Raiders schedule, and there are still glaring issues on this team, and we did our positional rankings in the West alone, they are in such a tough division. They have 6 games that they play in the AFC West alone against all 3 teams that, in my opinion, are probably significantly better than them.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders win 1 game against AFC West opponents. 1.
I'll be,
Yeah, and that would be the most.
So
with that being said, in addition to the rest of their competition, I'm selling that they hit 500 or above. I think, you'll get some reason for optimism, and you'll get some flashes from Mendoza, Genti, Kubiak's offense. But no, I'm gonna sell that. I don't think the Raiders are there. They ain't there.
All right,
you selling that?
Yeah, I'm selling it. I think that 6 wins is kind of the cap for them.
What do we have? Did we have them 4 and?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. But with that being said, I think that they're going to be tough to play against. I do.
So I have an AFC West team will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl by herself.
I'm buying that.
Buying?
Yeah. I'll buy that. I think that I think that it's kind of like the year where like the Chiefs could be back there. Like it just feels right. As much as I hate to say that, I could really see the Chiefs being back there. Kind of do like the fairy tale story for Travis Kelce. And then, I mean, the Broncos and Chargers are serious contenders. I mean, I'll say it again, like the Broncos were one Bo Nix injury away from playing in that game last year. So,
yeah.
I mean, a lot's changed. Of course, you can see the Buffalo Bills being there. I'm not really big on the Patriots. I'm not. But, of course, you could see them being there. I just think that this conference runs through the West.
Yeah. So I'm going to sell it. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
And I think the odds work in the West favor in the fact that they have 3 teams that will have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is significantly greater than any other division in the AFC that can say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bills have Bills and Patriots. That is the only division that has 2 teams that you can argue might have a chance, right? I think when you look at Texans division, I'm not sold on the Jags being a legitimate Super Bowl contender and certainly not on the Colts. In the AFC North, I'm not sold on the Steelers, Bengals, or Browns. I think the Ravens can be a contender, but I'm not sold on the others. So I think the odds work in the favor of the West of the fact that they could and should have 3 teams that represent them come playoff time. Mm-hmm. So the odds already work towards your advantage. Mm-hmm. That's why I put that in there. But sitting here saying in June a team from the AFC West is going to be in the Super Bowl is the odds aren't in your favor to take that either, right?
Yeah.
Like betting against that, you have better odds. I think with context, the Chiefs, we have them as a wild card team that's going to be on the cusp. The Chargers have yet to win a playoff game under Justin Herbert. We don't know the Broncos. Like, yeah, they were 1 win away from a Super Bowl last year, but there was tons of talk about how many fluke wins that the Broncos got that they shouldn't have got. Just talk. I'm not saying they're a bad team by any means, but the Bills are going to be there. The Ravens can be there. The Jags are going to be tough. The Patriots are going to be tough. The Texans are really tough. Mm-hmm. So I would take the field on this just because those odds are a little bit better, but I thought that was a good one. You could argue either way for sure. Yeah. I don't see the I don't see the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. I still don't. I do think that they bounce back and make the playoffs, but I don't see the Chiefs as a Super Bowl team. I think there's too many holes on that roster. The Chargers, as much as a fan, I would love to just be like, yeah, we're a Super Bowl team. We got to show it. We have yet to win a playoff game under Justin Herbert or Jim Harbaugh, and that's just one single playoff game, a wild card game for that matter. So I would be ignorant to sit here and say the Chargers should absolutely be in the Super Bowl because we have yet to prove it in the biggest stage, and that leaves me with the Broncos versus the field. I'm taking the field, just odds-wise.
What I'll say, I mean, and obviously this is a very Broncos take, but when you look at what a Super Bowl contender should be, it's a good defense and a good offensive line, and then obviously you do need the quarterback.
Right.
When we're talking about the AFC, the Broncos and the Texans are the clear top 2 teams when it comes to defense.
Yep.
When we're talking about offensive line, there's no one that's better than the Denver Broncos.
I agree.
So I just think the recipe of defense, offensive line, and quarterback play kind of puts the Broncos kind of in that
you have the
conversation.
makings.
So,
absolutely. You do have the makings. The difficult part with NFL playoffs is it's a 1-game shift.
Yeah.
And we can see what weather did to that in your New England game, right? Like that's where it's hard is the better team on paper, the well-constructed team isn't always your winner.
Yeah.
And that's difficult with the NFL.
Yeah, well, that was more of the quarterback thing because we fucking made Drake May look terrible in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, cool. All right, so me. So I kind of struggled with how I want to word this, but given that Sean Payton just got his new contract, I'm going to say Sean Payton will last the longest out of all of the current AFC West head coaches.
I'm going to sell it because of Kubiak.
Okay.
I think Andy Reid, obviously being closer to the tail end of retirement than anything, if it was just tenure, like Andy Reid's not going anywhere. He's not going to coach another football team.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree there.
Yeah.
But with his career and with his age and with the trajectory of the Chiefs, but shit, who knows? He might try to wait for Mahomes' entire contract to be up until 2033. I don't think Sean Payton's coaching the Broncos in 2033.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Jim Harbaugh, I'll buy that Peyton outlasts Harbaugh. I actually could realistically see that happening. Kubiak is just young enough and up and coming and starting that I think I'm high on Kubiak. I think the Raiders might have found something there. And I really liked that hire, and I think Kubiak might be here for the long run in the AFC West. So that's why I'd sell that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying it just because of the obviously the current contract extension. I do think Andy Reid retires within the next 5 years. You never know what the hell Jim Harbaugh is gonna do. So I don't see him lasting 5 years in the NFL. Who knows what
because he's got 3 left on his deal.
Yeah, so who knows what the hell he'll do. And then with Kubiak, obviously he's a rookie head coach. I don't know. Who knows if that's even going to pan out, but you're high on him. Sure, we can be high on him, but we just don't know.
Sure.
So I'm going to take the for sure thing. I know Sean Payton's going to be here through the 2030 season. The one thing I will say is that the Broncos are going to be opening up a new stadium come the 2031 season. And if I know Sean Payton and his ego, he's going to want to be coaching in that game.
Sure.
That's a good point. I think that Sean Payton, I don't think that this is his last contract here in Denver.
Understood.
So,
let's see. Where do I want to go with this? I have 2 Chargers ones. Can I fire off 2 at you?
yeah.
So the first one, buy or sell, Justin Herbert wins his first playoff game this year. The second one, Quentin Johnson has his first 1,000-yard season. Buy or sell.
Okay, so I'm selling the Justin Herbert playoff game.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think you guys win the division. And so I think you're going to be playing another wild card game on the road. And I don't think you're winning a road playoff game, especially given that it'll probably be in Denver or in Kansas City or in Buffalo, in New England. You're going to a cold weather game. So I don't think that you guys that Justin Herbert wins his first playoff game this year.
Okay.
And then we can have a serious conversation about Justin Herbert after that. The Quentin Johnson, I'll take that.
You're buying?
Yeah, I'll buy that. I think that first of all, I think Ladd McConkey's going to have a huge year. And I think that it's only natural for Quentin Johnston to be your number 2. He's come a long way. He really kind of had his breakout last year in what got to over 700 yards. So I think him being a solidified number 2 where he is kind of taking that Keenan Allen role in a way. Obviously much different receivers, but he's going to be getting a fair amount of those targets that Keenan Allen got. I'll take that.
Do you think I'm buying both?
I don't.
I'm buying both. I'm buying both.
I had a little bit of humanity and humility there.
But here's why. Okay. I'll start with the first one. Herbert's winning a playoff game this year. It's going to happen.
Okay.
I think we have a legitimate chance to win the AFC West. I'm not saying we're winning it, but I do believe we have a very legitimate chance to contend with Broncos to win this division. And so that could work in our favor. Obviously, our odds go up if you win the West, right? Then you're hosting a game against a wild card opponent, assuming we're not the 1 seed. So that goes in our favor because I think we have a chance for that. And I think this has all the makings of the first time that all the pieces are going to be there. This is when you were talking about I just have a feeling about J.K. Dobbins. I just have a feeling that the pieces are there.
You've had a feeling for the last decade, Matthew.
And we had no Rashawn Slater. We had no Jawalt. We had the worst center in the league. We had no guard play. We like everything fell apart. We played the playoff game without Omarion Hampton. Everything fell apart. I believe Tyler Biotish is a significant upgrade at center, which is going to make a difference. I believe Jawalt and Rashawn Slater are going to play this full year. That might be far-fetched, but I believe our tackles are going to be healthy. I believe in what Mike McDaniel is preaching and the impact he's about to have. Under Jim Harbaugh, we always talked about year 3. Year 3 under Harbaugh was always, from the minute we signed him, year 3 was our results. So I'm sticking to that timeline. Year 3 is our results under Jim Harbaugh. So I'm going to buy Justin Herbert wins his first playoff game. I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl, but I'm saying we're winning a playoff game.
Okay.
Just one. And then with Quentin Johnston, my caveat to that is we don't bring Keenan Allen back. If we bring Keenan Allen back, I'm selling it.
Okay.
If we continue to part ways and let Keenan Allen either test the market or call his career, I'm buying it just because of the role. Keenan Allen still led the entire team in targets last year, which is criminal. That was terrible, terrible coaching by Greg Roman. There's no way Keenan Allen should be out-targeting Ladd McConkey. Just you're not utilizing the talent that you have on your team. But I think Quentin Johnston's going to get a lot of those reps. He's going to solidify himself as the wide receiver 2 on this team. Back-to-back 700-yard seasons. I can see QJ hitting that 1,000-yard mark. So I'm buying QJ at 1,000 yards for the first time of his career.
Sweet.
You want to do 2 more each and call it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hit me with 2. Do both of them the same.
Well, I kind of have one. No, I'm going to do one more, and then I'll because I really only have one more that I really like.
Okay.
All right. So, Bo Nix cements himself as a top 12 quarterback in the NFL after this year.
You're going to make me draw out a list right here. Top 12. I thought you were going to go top 10 on this. All right.
Statistically, he already is.
Oh, okay, are we going statistically top 12 or just like our analysis of him as a player?
Both.
Because here's what let's go. Fuck this. Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson,
Okay.
Josh Allen,
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Hold on. We're gonna dig into this.
Yeah, please.
And then I'll give you my answer. I'll tell you at first glance I'm going to buy top 12.
Okay.
And I hate to do that, but I'm going to buy top 12 for now.
Because it really pisses me off that you say statistically and then act like that has no weight to it.
So let's start over. Josh Allen.
Okay.
Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
That's 5 from the AFC alone. Oh, there's so many question marks. Caleb Williams is there for me. He's in the same conversation.
I'm not giving it to you.
He's in the same conversation.
I'm not giving it to you.
Are you giving me Jared Goff?
Sure.
Okay, 6. Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Are you giving me Sam Darnold?
No.
Okay. No Brock Purdy. Baker Mayfield. Will you give me Baker?
I'll say they're very similar.
All right, here I'll
say
buy
they're
it.
very similar.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, because you could struggle to even give me 10,
No, but
Matthew.
there's going to be guys that you won't give me that I think are in the same conversation. And guys, I'm talking about Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams.
Jalen Hurts sucks.
Jordan Love. Like
Jordan Love is...
These are all guys I'm putting in that same category.
So we're putting them in the same category, but Bo Nix has proven to be
Bryce Young.
much more of a winner.
Nah,
Get the hell out of here. So Bo Nix...
The winner side, yes. Are we talking individual?
We're talking statistically and winning.
That's what's hard, too, because if we're talking individual football talent, I'm saying Herbert's top 3.
Who gives a fuck about talent?
But that's what I'm asking. What is our standard for this? Is it stats or is it talent?
It's stats and winning.
And winning? Winning, I don't think, is the fairest argument. Justin Herbert is not a winner, but he is absolutely top 5 quarterback in the NFL,
because if we're going purely based off of talent, then we have to throw Kyler Murray ahead of him. We have to throw fucking Michael Penix ahead of him. We have to throw Tua ahead of him. Everyone has said that Bo Nix, when it comes to talent,
yes, you have to combine winning.
Is not talented.
But we're not basing it off of winning alone.
I'm not
Fair
either.
Okay.
I'm doing statistics and winning.
I'll give you top 12.
Statistically, Bo Nix has been a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Statistically.
I'll give you top 12. Buy it.
Okay.
Do you have any others?
It pisses me off, dude. Because that's my argument here is that you have such a hatred for the Broncos.
But even
that it's just we're just talking about a feeling. It's I don't give a fuck about your feeling. Yeah. All I care about is what the guy has actually done.
Mm-hmm.
What the guy has actually done. The amount of hate that he gets is severely it's not warranted.
Would you agree that situation plays into things? Because that's always the caveat is sure, someone can outperform someone statistically, but that does not make them a better player than the other.
Sure.
Which I think we could agree on. So that's what's so hard about comparing players is you factor in how much are they won? What are their stats? What is their situation? How is their coaching? How is their offensive line? How is their weapons? There's so much that goes into it, especially with even guys like Joe Burrow we talk about, right? And with Justin Herbert, with Lamar Jackson. The same thing goes into play of all their situations are so different, and then it just becomes a hypothetical game of if you place Joe Burrow on the Broncos, what is he doing? If you place Justin Herbert on this.
But that's
that's
an unfair way to look at this, though. I feel like the only way that we can truly analyze it is
what they're doing in the league.
What they are doing.
Right. And you can't have the what they're doing conversation without talking about the context of their situation too.
Sure, but
then we just get into hypothetical. So I agree with you. I'm just saying it gets extremely difficult when you compare a guy with the worst offensive line in the NFL to the guy with the best offensive line.
Sure, but
because their numbers are going to be drastically different if you change scenarios.
I get that.
So that then it becomes hard to compare players when their situations, one is far worse off than the other, so he's at a significant disadvantage than that other player.
Okay, so if Bo Nix had the same amount of statistics that he had, but he wasn't able to do all these magical comeback drives that he has been able to do, sure, I get that.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about situation, it truly comes down to, okay, Bo Nix, when it has come down to we need him to make plays in the fourth quarter.
He performs.
He performs.
Right. Agreed.
So that takes out every situation possible there because he put the team on his back and was able to do something magical.
The situation also allows him to do that.
But the situation didn't allow him to do it for 45 minutes.
If you I think we're having a drastic different conversation if Bo Nix is on the Chargers.
Okay, but that's just so unfair to look at.
I know it's hard. Way. I know, but it matters is the only other thing.
But not as much as what statistics and winning matters.
You can argue Justin Herbert has a significant disadvantage when he has the worst protection in the entire NFL, and he cycled 5 offensive coordinators in 7 years, and he has never had anybody that is worth a damn to either coach him, to train him, to mentor him, or had a line to protect him, or had a running game.
Yeah, but
when you factor all those
I'm
things,
also not sitting here saying that I'm trying to put Bo Nix in the top 5.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that it's so hard to compare when you look at different situations.
But the point that I'm trying to make,
but I'm buying it.
I get that, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Bo Nix is one of the better quarterbacks in this league.
He is,
and it is diabolical to see people putting him at 17, at 20, that is wild to me.
But people, that gets views, that gets clicks.
I get it, but it's so unwarranted.
Skip Bayless made a career doing that. So you can't buy too much into people doing that because
but so when we're sitting here and we're texting in our group chat and everyone's saying that Bo Nix sucks.
How much of it is to piss people off though?
Okay, so are you guys doing it in Justin to piss me off?
Yes.
Okay.
So many people do. Yes, 100%. 100%.
All right. Yeah. I'm just trying to say Bo Nix is in my opinion, already a top 12 quarterback. But I think after this year, like he cements himself
on
there.
Record, I will buy that he is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL.
Okay,
I'll buy it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Did you have more?
No.
Okay, can I throw two? Let's see. I think there was only two I really wanted to get with you. I already hit those. Okay, first one, Broncos related. Buy or sell, Broncos have 2 1,000-yard receivers this year. Was the last team to do it the Bengals?
Yeah, I'm gonna sell.
You're selling?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Cortland
Tell
Sutton.
me why and give me your prediction of where they land.
Well, my why is that it's extremely difficult to do.
Okay.
The other part of that why is I think that there's more of a run game involved. The other why is I think that you're going to see more production out of guys like Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, and even Evan Ingram. So I think that their floors kind of raise. With that being said, I still think that Cortland Sutton gets to around 900 yards, but I think that Jalen Waddle is definitely the focal point, and he gets to 1,100, 1,200
So you think
yards.
they can combine for 2 then? If you combine.
Yeah, close.
Okay.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, I also was going to sell it, but not by much.
Yeah.
I also think I think your duo is fantastic. But given the last team that's actually done that was the Bengals, and if I'm not mistaken, do you know any other teams that have done that? Mm-mm. I think it was T and Chase.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of our duos compare to T and Chase by any means.
No.
But yeah, I'm going to sell it. There's only so much ball to go around. I think Waddle is going to separate as your one. He's just a fantastic dude. I do think he gets right around 1,100 to 1,200 yards this year. Mm-hmm. And then, Cortland. I think you guys probably hit 2K. I do. Yeah. Like, as your top duo combined, I think you guys probably do. Yeah. I said one more. I'm throwing 2 at you and 1.
Okay.
First one, Sean Payton takes back play calling duties before the end of the season. Second one, Omarion Hampton has the best year of all AFC West running backs.
So the Sean Payton stuff, I'm selling on that.
Okay.
Sean Payton gets the bad rap of he's an ass and he's ultra, like, he needs to kind of be in charge of everything, which I get, because I mean that is him to an extent.
Sure.
But from everything that he's talked about, and like he's done this in the past before with other coordinators. No, it's the Davis Webb show this year as far as play calling
all
goes.
Year long.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm also buying that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that they keep it for a year. I actually pretty high on Davis Webb. So.
Yeah.
Second one, Omarion Hampton has the best year of all AFC West running backs.
I'll buy that too. Yeah.
Okay. And let's go combined yards, touchdowns.
So I think
all-purpose plus touchdowns.
So what we said, Genty was at 1,400.
Unless you bring in yards per carry, and you start getting into the weeds with it.
Yeah, I'll give Omarion Hampton all-purpose yards 1,500, and all-purpose touchdowns I'll give him 12.
And you think Genty is second?
Yeah.
Do you think K9 tops either of those two backs?
I do not.
Okay. So I'm going to sell the Hampton one, but my Charger bias and just being hopeful thinks that it's possible. So I throw that in there. I'm super big on what Hampton's going to do this year.
I think Hampton's the best running back in this division.
I'm very high on what he's going to do this year, but I have to also keep in mind what the Chargers' offensive line has done the past several years, plus injury concerns, Ashton Genty's talent level, and then K9. I'm going to sell it, but I do think that is something to keep an eye out for, and it is extremely possible.
Cool.
We're going on like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So
wow, what an episode.
And we didn't even know what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, no,
so I love
not at all. Yeah, so obviously kind of a look forward into the future. This is kind of the last week of football practice in any kind of capacity for like the next 5 weeks. We're heading into the 5-week territory of where you hope that none of your players get in any trouble. Obviously, the Broncos have already had one of those. We'll next week episode we'll maybe touch on the last kind of bit of news from mini camp here. But some ideas is that we might do some like games and whatnot, maybe some like trivia shows or whatnot, just to kind of get us through until training camp starts. We're really gonna rack our brain and try and figure it out and get some content out to you guys because we definitely want to stay consistent here. So
yeah, maybe some fantasy football.
Yeah,
bridging a little bit. Any ideas you guys have that you want to see, or topics that come out throughout the week, positional battles or whatever it might be, just send it our way. We'll definitely include it in the show as we look for more stuff to talk about. We just got a few more weeks to get through on this dry spell and then training camp, so more to come.
Yeah, and I mean, with that being said, we're always open to feedback. If you guys don't like the way we started the show of like kind of breaking down all the information, and maybe it was too boring for you guys, and then you guys really liked us yelling at each other, like we can do more of that stuff. So feedback is always appreciated. We're going to end this one here. Thank you to everyone that listens to us. We promise you more consistency, and go Broncos.